Can you tell I'm in denial?
You can't stay at the top forever.
I was also very surprised when I looked at my phone and saw Joe Girardi dismissed.
Well, I think mine were with common sense.
I think now belongs in the all-time greats top 10.
Boston, I really think only got to this point because of a guy named Chris Middleton being out for the Bucks.
That power play just was unbearable. It was humming.
Man, am I happy. I knew that this was going to happen. I knew he was going to come back.
When I think of New York Yankees now, is Judge. Probably people in the past when Jeter was coming up.
I would be shocked. A little bit hurt.
Hey, this is Greg Tepper of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, TexasFootball.com, and Valley Sports Southwest. You are listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our MLB Opinions of the Week. And this is nothing concrete, Austin. But as someone that I've kind of grown in predicting moves and thinking about possible transactions. So first, the Mets trade for Marcus Semien on a regular level. It's like, okay, they're moving off Brandon Nimmo. They're bringing in second baseman. Now they also, there's other things that happen. Pete Alonso leaves. You have Jorge Polanco signed to a 2-year deal. And now that is where I'm starting to wonder, is it possible that they trade Francisco Lindor?
Is it possible, or do I think it happens? Which one are you asking?
Or do you think it happens? Yeah, do you think it happens?
I don't. I've had time to think about this. We talked about it a couple days ago, and I wanted some time to think about it. I don't think that this will be a decision that will impact Lindor, and by decision I mean signing Polanco. How do you feel about it?
I do think this impacts. Because to me, this makes second base way too crowded. You do have Jeff McNeil as well. They also have Luis Angel Acuna, who I think could also play short. I don't see Polanco or Semien filling in first base. Third base, I think they have set with their prospects of Brett Beatty and Vientos. So that is where I'm like, where does it really go? I guess you could put Polanco at DH, but you can also put Soto at DH. So I do think we see a Lindor trade explored and has a high possibility of happening.
Yeah, I've been looking at the reports, and all the GM has said is that he actually expects Jorge Polanco to play some first base in DH. So that's where they kind of expect him to run. Now, whether or not that's just coach speak or basically just talk that they say to the media so that people do not assume that they're going to trade Lindor or not, I don't know. I think Polanco ends up being the DH primarily, but also plays a little bit of first base. I think Jeff McNeil will either be center field or first base, depending on the matchup. And yes, Lindor could be moved. I just don't think it's the best course of action for the Mets at this point. I still think that Lindor is one of the better shortstops in the league, and I think it'd be very interesting. I know we talked about this off air, but extremely interesting for the lineup to see two switch hitters that are pretty good next to each other in the lineup. So that gives you a very good opportunity to attack both pitching arms left or right and adjust to a lot of pitching matchups with your lineup. Makes it a lot easier. I think they're going to explore a lot of different lineup iterations in the infield and outfield. Losing Pete Alonso to the Orioles, I think, kind of mandates that. I don't think they're going to add somebody for first base, so I think Polanco or Jeff McNeil will play that spot. And then, obviously, moving off Nimmo frees up some outfield spots. So I think probably McNeil will fill that and Polanco will play first. But again, the GM could just be getting coach speak. My question to you is, why would you trade Lindor if you're adding these guys? Because if you're spending money, is moving Lindor the next reasonable thing to do? Especially when the Mets are obviously trying to contend. You don't trade for a guy of Semien's age or Polanco's age, who's 32, without some goal of succeeding this season. You've also signed Soto to a very long contract. You have a lot invested in this roster monetarily and prospect-wise. So making a decision to regress, I don't think is in the team's best interest. How do you feel about where this team would be going if they did trade Lindor versus did not?
So where I look at where I see them trading Lindor is them readjusting money. I do think Steve Cohen is an interesting owner because when he signed it, he's like, I don't care about money. I do think after a couple years of owning the team, he's starting to be concerned about that luxury tax line and is starting to spend his money better. And I think one way to do that is it seemed like they didn't want to bring Pete Alonso back. And they trade for Simeon. It is a win now move, but I do think it was like we are kind of field and outfield. We want to better our second base. Simeon is a great clubhouse guy. And I view this as them wanting to focus on money, and you're trading Lindor to get a lot of prospects back, which can help you in the next 1 to 2 years, where you're building back, kind of like what they did when they traded Verlander, Scherzer, and those were kind of the main moves. Yes, they did sign Devin Williams. To me, they're trying to build a different team, and that's why I could see them trading Lindor.
Yeah. I think it's possible. I still don't think they are going to trade Lindor. If they do, I don't think it's going to be something that happens during the offseason. I think that would be hey, we're still pretty bad. We're not going to make the playoffs. We didn't make the playoffs last year. We got to shake it up. And Lindor's the easiest guy to move off of. I think they're going to experiment a lot this season. And obviously, there's still some changes I think need to be made starting pitching wise. But I think they're committed pretty strongly to this roster as it stands because they have a lot of money invested in it. Now, I'm not going to say it's impossible for Lindor to get traded because, again, you make these moves at the positions that you made them at. Does definitely raise some question marks about, hey, why did you make these moves if Lindor is on the roster? But I don't think he's going to get traded.
I do think there is possibility of him being traded, and it could happen. I do think it would happen in the offseason to kind of prepare, be like, okay, this is going to be a different type of year. Because I think there is a plan. Now, I can disagree with that plan, which I am, but I do think they're trying to save money and kind of focus on different areas of the team.
Yeah, you can't say you're saving money though when you have the Soto contract. I just don't know if they're going to be able to reasonably expect success. It's like the whole like you can't have your cake and eat it too, right? Like I just don't know how they're going to be able to reasonably say, "Hey, we're not just trying to contend, but we're not just trying to spend all our money in one place." It's again, it makes it difficult, but it's been interesting seeing their moves, and they're not done making moves, in my opinion. I just don't think one of those moves is trading Lindor.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't think they're done. It could be trading Lindor and then adding other guys, maybe spending more on starting pitching. We'll have to see. It's a really interesting free agency from the Mets so far.
Yeah, that's completely true.
All right, let us know your thoughts in the comments. We appreciate you listening to Outsiders Opinions.